For some time now, myself and Rowan Griffiths, Mirror photographer, have thought it would be interesting to interview a Wagner Group fighter, not least because they are particularly topical at the moment, but obviously that's quite impossible in Ukraine, so because of the fighting. So we tried to get a Wagner Group fighter who's been captured by Ukrainian troops. We got two, one of whom is a convicted killer who was in the 9th year of a 20-year sentence for stabbing to death a Chechen man in a bar brawl somewhere in Russia. And this guy, Victor, the killer, was able to bargain for his freedom with Wagner Group's founder, Yevgeny Prigozhin, himself a former jailbird, and then in exchange for that freedom, go off to war and be involved in committing what is by any metric an even far bigger crime in an illegal war. Victor told us that he signed up after Yevgeny landed in a helicopter in his prison, in true Bond villain style, and I think a few weeks later he was in Donbass fighting. And it's just, I mean, we negotiated with the authorities here in Ukraine, and we interviewed him and one of his comrades, Anatoly, himself also a convicted criminal, who was jailed for a bar brawl. He didn't kill anyone, but so he says, but he was jailed, and he too bargained for his freedom to go off and commit a bigger crime fighting in Ukraine in front of regular Russian troops. And what they said was fascinating. They describe in great detail the violence that they were exposed to. Nothing in these appalling Russian prisons that they'd experienced prepared them for what they'd see. They saw comrades being killed and dying in East Ukraine, and what's interesting is that they are among thousands of young men who've been able to bargain for their freedom, supposedly, and they say that some of their comrades have been able to successfully be freed when they return to Russia. As convicted criminals, they would never find work, but they chose the Wagner Group route because they claim it meant they may get a better future. They soon regretted that when they landed on the front line. And Prigozhin, in the meantime, this is what makes it particularly sort of topical at the moment. There is a huge schism developing, it seems, between Prigozhin's Wagner Group and the Russian military hierarchy, who feel that they've got a bit out of hand because Prigozhin has been dissing them openly, criticising their tactics, and today or yesterday accused the Russian authorities, the Kremlin, of starving them of ammunition and artillery rounds, and that has led to the grisly photograph published on his Telegram account, in which Yevgeny Prigozhin is accusing them of having orchestrated a situation where Wagner Group troops are suffering lack of ammo and are therefore dying. So Victor, having committed his original crime, then bargains for his freedom by committing an even bigger crime, and is now incarcerated somewhere in Ukraine at a secret location, having made the wrong choice to escape prison. And both of him and Anatoly face an uncertain future, and they discussed that with us, and that's what we were trying to get originally, and quite maybe surprisingly, we managed to get it today.